Tyreek Hill finished wide receiver 6 last year, 110 receptions, 156 targets, 1,237 yards, 9 touchdowns, 25% target share when he was with Kansas City last year. Thoughts on Tyreek Hill?
Man, this is the $1 million question, right? Do you trust Tua enough to draft Tyreek as your number one wide receiver? I want to see it before I do it personally. Like if I'm drafting receiver at the top end in the first 2 rounds of a draft, I want it to hit, right? Just like anything else. And yes, receivers tend to have a better hit rate than running backs do, even, but there's so much depth at wide receiver. I can go different places and feel just as comfortable with the result that I'm going to get, right? I don't have to take Tyreek. I can, I can go to a Debo. I can go to a Devontae Adams. I can go to Jefferson and Chase are going to be gone by that point. Cup's going to be gone to that point, right? So we know those guys, and it's kind of that next wave of who's there. But in a redraft league, I think I trust Tom Brady and Mike Evans for one more good run than I trust Tyreek Hill.
I don't know if you guys think this is wild, but I think that Tyreek maybe gets utilized a little bit more in the run game than in the past. I mean, than he ever did really in Kansas City. So I think that they try to. This is going to sound, I guess, weird, but it seems to me like I think that they might try to use Tyreek the way that they tried to use Debo over there in San Francisco, and just try to get the ball in his hands as many ways as you possibly can. And I think you'll see a lot of the jet sweep action. You'll see a lot of just like different ways where he's on the bubbles and all of that. And granted, he did that a fair amount there in Kansas City on those screen plays that he then turned into massive gains. I would have no problem taking Tyreek if there was a different quarterback, because this team is absolutely loaded with talent pretty much everywhere outside of the quarterback position. So that raises huge question marks for where he's going. I guess I'm probably looking elsewhere, and I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes in that wide receiver one, upper end wide receiver one category. But I also wouldn't be surprised either if he falls out of wide receiver one category because of who he has throwing him the football.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that you're going to see Tyreek probably somewhere in the 1,100 to 1,200 total yards, somewhere around about 7-8 touchdowns on this one. And I think you are going to see him, flirt with 100 receptions when this thing's all said and done here as well. I think he will certainly return value. And I think what you're going to draft him at is probably about what you're going to get when it's all said and done.